Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are back with some more of Avatar: The Last Airbender. As I've previously mentioned, a lot of shows coming back off of the backlog that they were on initially a while ago. So now this is the latest return of a previous show that hasn't been on the channel for a while. So yeah, the return of the return of the Avatar to my channel, first to the world, and now to the channel. So yeah, Avatar: Last Airbender, it's back. So no need to worry about it anymore. So yeah, this time on to episode number 7 of season 2. Last time, I vividly remember last time, similar to Harley Quinn, short episodes, really, vivid, really compact, really, vivid memories and everything. So I think last time we met Toph, I especially remember because I fell in love with Toph almost immediately. She is amazing at everything she does. She was the blind. I mean, the episode was called. I think the episode was called "The Blind Bandit," and she was indeed blind. Whether or not she was a bandit, I'm not really kind of too sure. But she was blind. Blind, but then her other senses kind of enhanced, or like at least she somewhat kind of taught herself to enhance her other senses in the absence of her sight and everything. So then, because that her abilities to earthbend, she was an earthbender and a really cool one. Her abilities to earthbend were that much more kind of enhanced and kind of honed and that much more precise and accurate and everything. So she, her being the one master of neutral Jing, of her being like waiting and listening for her kind of opponent's kind of movements and literally listening to for the vibrations of their movements within the ground and through the air and everything. But especially like through the ground, like her being an earthbender, I think she was the one who was actually destined to teach and not only the art of, perfect earthbending, but also to master neutral Jing and to actually earthbend that way and everything. So she has now officially joined the crew of her own accord too. Initially, her parents discovered what she really gets up to behind their backs and behind the back of her kind of very, very basic earthbending teacher and everything. And then they decided to actually try and lock her away forever. So then she escaped and ran away with the crew. And now the dad hired some dudes from the earthbending tournament that she was at to try and hunt her down and gave them a shitload of gold because I think she comes from the Beifong family, which is the richest family in the country, so they can definitely pay off any kind of bounty hunters or whatever have you. So they've set 2 guys from the earthbending tournament onto the Avatar to try and track him down, so then they can actually bring the daughter back and everything. So then yeah, now they've got now they've got the crew consisting of these 2 dudes, and then the other crew consisting of Azula, May, and Ty Lee on them as well. Like, and I think Azula's also she's added the Avatar to her target list, but then initially her only 2 targets were Zuko and Iroh. So yeah, we got a lot of chasing, a lot of wild goose chasing going on in this season so far. So that should be fun moving ahead, but yeah. So now they've left, and now they've come to understand that Toph is the key to helping Aang perfect his earthbending and unlock that kind of earthbending element in his kind of roster of Avatar kind of powers and everything. So yeah, we had some cool stuff with Toph, some pretty cool stuff with Toph. I think it was like a pretty kind of Avatar on the crew kind of centric episode. It didn't really kind of show off anyone else I remember. Really kind of focused, pretty kind of hyper-focused on Toph and introducing her to the world and to the story and to their team and everything. So it was a pretty fun episode in that sense. So yeah, that is pretty much all I can actually remember from the last one. So on to episode number 7 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, season 2. So yeah, let's go. No, it does not look like the most stable bridge. I spoke too soon. Well, no, I spoke on time. Yeah, I do not trust that bridge. Did not trust that bridge one bit. Oof, yeah, you gotta recharge. You don't need to kill, though. You do not need to kill. I'm sure if you ask nicely, they'll be willing to spare something. And there's a family. There's a family on the way, If you ask nicely, I'm sure they'll spare. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Would they recognize him? I think, is Zuko known for having the scar on his face? Is he known to, like, throughout the world for being that? For being the Fire Lord's son with the scar and everything? Oh, mystery woman. No way, what are these kids gonna do? Oh, egg. Egg.
You throwing eggs at us, stranger?
Where on him do you see eggs?
Throw it.
No. Maybe a chicken flew over.
Thanks for
Oh, he still got the sass. Oh, you
Army appreciates
dick.
your support. trust me.
Whoa, has he got Mjolnir? Has he got a little Mjolnir?
Soldiers are supposed to protect us from the
No, wait, no,
Federation,
he
but
wouldn't
they're
be
just a bunch of
worthy.
thugs.
Nah. Next time, don't throw eggs at people. Jesus.
I'll take you to my house and feed your ostrich horse for you. Come on, I owe you.
Okay, alright then. Alright, he's willing to redeem himself. Okay. Yeah, The band, like, the actual little kind of Mjolnir looking hammer things by the sides. Interesting choice of weaponry.
You a friend of
A pig chicken? A chicken pig? A pickin'? A chig?
Stop asking the man personal questions, got it?
So how'd you get that scar?
Oh, right on the
It's not
thumb.
nice to bother people about.
Zuko,
Oh,
why would you do that?
he threw a rock at a turtle. Oh, so there's all sorts of hybrids in this universe then. Chicken pigs, turtle ducks. Oh, that's what happens. You fuck around and you find out. Yeah.
That's what moms are like. If you mess with
Oh,
her baby,
this is his mother.
they're gonna bite you back.
Oh, Zuko's mother. Oh, didn't she die? Wasn't she meant to die during? I think. How did her story go? Because I have to assume she's dead now. But how did she actually die? Oh.
See, I told you it would work. Aw, they're so cute together. You two are such...
Ba Sing Se must be something.
Ba Sing Se, the siege of Ba Sing Se. Wasn't it a siege? It was a siege, right?
We don't burn it to the ground first.
The siege of Ba Sing Se.
Note the inscription and the superior craftsmanship.
Whoa.
Never give up without a fight.
A new friend.
A doll.
She wears the latest fashion for
A doll.
Earth Kingdom girls.
I still think our dad would make a much better Fire Lord than his royal tea-loving kookiness.
Hey, I mean, yeah, I would make a more kind of positive and wholesome Fire, would he? I don't know. We don't know exactly what he was like during the siege, but he changed after that, after all that stuff went down. Oh, is he practicing with the daggers? Oh, the blue spirit daggers, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Don't think of them as separate, because they're not. They're just two different parts of the same whole.
He's gonna hurt him, so he's not even trained with one sword. Do you expect him to do it with two?
I think you'd really like my brother Sensu. He used to show me stuff like this all the time.
Oh, okay then. Fair enough.
Dressed them up in Fire Nation uniforms and put them on the front line unarmed, way I heard it. Then they just watched.
You watch your mouth.
Oh god. Oh.
Iroh has lost his son. Your
Oh.
cousin, Luten, did not
Oh,
survive
Liu
the
Ten. That was Iroh's son.
What's gonna happen to my brother?
I want you to have this.
Oh, the
Read
dagger,
instructions.
the purple, the
Made
dagger.
in Earth Kingdom.
The other one.
Made in Earth Kingdom. Oh. They still have those kinds of inscriptions here, huh? Made in Earth Kingdom, made in Fire Nation.
Uncle's coming home.
Does that mean we won the war?
It means Uncle's a quitter and a loser.
He gave up the siege.
Uncle's not a quitter.
He found out his son died and he just fell apart. A real general would stay and burn Ba Sing Se to the ground, not lose the battle and come home crying.
I'd like to demonstrate what I've been learning.
Oh god. Oh jeez, yeah. Just turned the smirk turned into a frown, just like that. Yeah. Ozai was never proud of Zuko. Never. Even the grandfather just like, ugh. Oh god.
But I am here, Father, and my children are alive.
Say what it is you want.
Father, revoke Iroh's birthright.
Suggest I betray Iroh, my firstborn? I think Iroh has suffered enough. But you? Your punishment has scarcely begun.
Oh damn. How did he punish Ozai?
You must know the pain of losing a firstborn son by sacrificing your own.
Liar! Dad would never do that to me.
Your father would never do what to you? What is going on here?
I don't know.
It's time for a talk.
Caught red-handed, caught in 4K.
The thugs from town came back as soon as Gonsu left. When they ordered us to give them food, Lee pulled a knife on them. I don't even know where he got a knife.
Oh shit, the dagger.
They told me if
He gave him that dagger, he gave him the confidence that he then overused. Yeah.
I told you he'd come.
Oh, you told them, huh? You set up expectations, yeah. He'll be back. The guy with the cool knives.
Let the kid go.
Who do you think?
I want to see you use that Mjolnir. See how well you handle Mjolnir. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who I am. Freeloaders abusing your power. Mostly over women and kids. You don't want Lee in your army. You're sick cowards messing with a family who's already lost one son to the war.
Damn, Zuko's come a long way. He's come a long, long way. Ooh. Damn, sliding across the floor. Oh. Oh, damn. Okay, be careful not to actually unleash any fire, though. That'll probably give you away more than anything. Yeah. Oh, just one guy, just the Mjolnir dude left. Okay, let me see you use your Mjolnir. I want to see him use the Mjolnir. Oh. Oh, crap, is he an earthbender? He's an actual earthbender? Oh, he's an earthbender. I mean, he must be, right? Yeah, it must be.
Left.
Left.
Fight.
He's got a left sword, don't he?
Oh, that still counts. He's got a left, so he can do a left strike. Yeah. Oof, oof, oof. Oh. Oh. God. His blades of... These must be steel, right? His blades of steel literally handling earth rock. Oh. Oh, Jesus.
Everything I've done to protect
Is she leaving? No way is she leaving.
Zuko. No matter how things may seem to change, never forget who you are.
Don't tell me his mother's leaving. Also, did she leave and not die then? Did she actually leave then? Is that what happened? She left. Whoa, he just unleashed fire! He just unleashed fire! Oh boy, okay, that gives him away. That definitely gives away the plot.
My name is Zuko. Son of Ursa and Fire Lord Ozai.
Ursa, yeah.
Prince of the Fire Nation and heir to the throne.
You're not a prince, you're an outcast. His own father burned and disowned him.
Oh, you know that much then. You know that much. I thought they wouldn't believe he was Zuko, but no, he's not a prince. He's an outcast. Yeah.
You should have it.
No, I hate you.
Oh, gee, wow, really? Oh god, because he's Fire Nation. Because he announced himself as Fire Nation. Oh, she left in the dead of night too. She left in the literal dead of night. Oh, and Azula stole his fucking blade.
Where's
Azula.
Mom? No one knows. And last night, Grandpa passed away.
Oh,
Not
what?
funny, Azula. You're sick.
So she's still out there, right? She's still out there somewhere, hopefully.
As was your dying wish, you are now succeeded by your second son.
So this is when Ozai became the Fire Lord. This is when Ozai... God damn. And Ursa just left. Ursa just up and left with one final goodbye to her son. She just left. Oh god, wow. So he's just, wow, just rejected just like that. Rejected just like that. So, yeah. A very, very undeniably Zuko-centric episode, and a pretty good Zuko-centric episode too. I think it had, I feel like it definitely had more flashbacks and more Zuko history than it did of him in the present day. I think with him in the present day, it didn't really kind of seem to incorporate much beyond him finding this family and helping them out and trying to still constantly trying to hide who he was and conceal his true identity. And we see exactly what the consequences would be of doing otherwise at the very end, but I think it didn't seem to really cover much besides from him helping out that family and trying to earn his keep, or like not earn his keep, but actually trying to help them in return for them giving him shelter and food and all that kind of stuff. So seemed good enough there, and they had the somewhat run of the mill kind of bad guys with the actual thugs and soldier. With the thugs dressed in Earth Kingdom soldier uniforms and everything, so we had some of that stuff. And then I think the thugs were wearing Earth Kingdom uniforms, and I think it was just the main guy, the kind of leader of the group. He had like two Mjolnir style hammers and everything like that. Like, had really long handles, had like long kind of wieldable handles, but then the actual ends looked like actual Mjolnir style things. I don't know if those were inspired, or because Mjolnir even in mythology has Mjolnir in mythology has like a very different kind of shape to it. It has like a more kind of has a bit more curvature and a bit more kind of sluggishness to it almost, but I think all the kind of movies and other kind of comic depictions kind of show it kind of being like a bit bolder and a bit more kind of streamlined in its kind of design and everything. So this one definitely kind of reminded me a lot more of the one from the movies than anything else. So that was cool. But either way, so it's a hammer. It still worked as it did. It was a hammer, like, and then the guy literally used it to earthbend to actually pummeling chunks of earth up into the air, and then kind of swatting them towards Zuko and everything. So I think they definitely worked in that way. But then they weren't real kind of Earth Kingdom soldiers or anything. They were just kind of thugs with different kind of mentalities and powers and everything, just kind of banded together and kind of aggravating the citizens and everything. So there was that kind of stuff. But yeah, at the very end, I think up until that final bit, I figured slash hoped that he would know the true consequences of actually unveiling his powers and his firebending ability to the point where he would avoid using it at all costs. But then at the very end, I think out the corner of my eye, I saw the bright orange glow, and then I looked up and then everything was on fire. So I was like, oh god, he's gone and done it. He's actually exposed himself as an actual firebender. So I thought that would be bad enough, but then he actually actively, exclaimed that he was Prince Zuko, the son of Ozai and Ursa, and this, that, and the other, and then he finally exposed his real identity. And then the one guy that called him a liar, I thought he'd be like, you're lying because Zuko's on his way back to the Fire Nation now. He's been imprisoned, he's been captured, he's been this, that, and the other, and everything. But then no, it's just like, oh, you're Zuko, but you're not a prince anymore. You're an outcast. You were burned and disowned by your dad. You were cast out. You were thrown out with your uncle and everything. So you're Zuko, but you're no longer royalty. You're no longer anyone of importance or significance. So that much is true. That much they actually know about and everything. So yeah, but still, regardless, even the son and the mother in that portion of the story still actively rejected him, and they no longer wanted anything to do with him. Especially, I think this is definitely a village that has personally kind of suffered at the hands of the Fire Nation, like constantly losing their sons and their fathers to war and to battle and everything, and having to kind of, wait to receive news about what's happening and being told that they've lost someone new and everything. So the Fire Nation has not really been kind to the rest of the world. I think the Fire Nation is literally known for attacking in the Avatar's absence and everything, so they attacked pretty much everyone. The Earth, they decimated they decimated the air nomads, and they've been kind of hounding and tormenting and torturing and killing the water, fire, and the water and earth kind of corners of the world ever since. So there's that whole thing. But yeah, in the end, the kid didn't even accept the dagger again. He didn't even accept the dagger. He just kind of told Zuko to go away, and he hated him and everything. So now, upon learning his real identity, the people immediately rejected him. The town immediately rejected. I can't fucking talk. The town immediately rejected him and told him to piss off and everything. So that was the thing. So I think I'm kind of wondering now, like if the next time we see Azula, maybe she might actually stop by this town, or maybe she might stumble into this town as a kind of pissed off maybe, and then ask them if they've seen Zuko, and then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, he kind of attacked a few of our Earth Kingdom soldiers, and then actually went on his way and everything. So then after that, she's gonna be kind of hot on his trail, no pun intended. After that, and actually find him even sooner. So yeah, I think this is Zuko being on his own, him helping a family or trying to help a family, and then afterwards he finally reveals who he is, and he sees people reacting. So I I'm kind of guessing him. I think I'm kind of, because of this. I'm kind of guessing that Zuko being on his own might be like more than just a one episode thing. I'm guessing Zuko might not immediately return to Uncle Iroh, because I think this episode kind of showed him like initially being kind of reserved and kind of kept to himself, and like him initially being in hiding, but then after he revealed himself, he kind of saw the reactions of the people around him, and he saw the reactions of the other kind of of the other kingdoms kind of reaction towards him, and who he was. So I think next time he runs into people, he might either kind of not tell them who he is, or he might invent some kind of like a fake name or something, and then avoid being Zuko, because then he knows that, oh, if people do know Zuko, then they probably know him well enough to be wary of him and to actually kind of cast him out as soon as they can and everything. So then he might actually he might avoid being Zuko. He might avoid being Zuko and actually try and be someone else. So yeah, I think him being alone and him finding his own way, him finding his own path, his own identity again, might be like an actual multi-episode kind of thing. So I'm kind of curious to see where that actually goes and where that takes him and how far that takes him before he can actually go back to Iroh. So should be interesting. But yeah, then the flashbacks. Oh boy, the flash. We had a lot of content in the flashbacks involving Ursa, his mother, and Zuko, and Azula, and a bit of Ozai. I mean, Ozai didn't really have I think he had dialogue, but I think they never properly really kind of showed his face besides from his forehead when they were putting the crown on, and then like his smirk and frown when Azula and Zuko went up to perform in front of their grandfather and everything. So. And there was a bit of May and Tylee too. I think we saw a bit of a young May and Tylee. I think we already know from the present day. I think May. I think actually Tylee actually referenced May and Zuko having a bit of history between them. So I think with this one in their childhood, we know that Tylee May was actually the one with the actual crush towards Zuko, and then May and then fuck's sake, then Tylee and Azula actually tried to push them together and actually set them up together and everything, and then tried to play tried to play it off as a prank on them and everything. So there was that whole thing. But yeah, Ursa is just I think the one thing I kind of took, I think the one thing, if anything, I actually took from these flashbacks is that, I think it feels so much as if Zuko and Ursa and Ozai and Azula are like their own two separate families, even within the one family. I think they very clearly kind of followed the whole kind of nuclear family kind of formula and everything. But then still, even within that, I think Azula very obviously takes after her father, and her father is proud of her for it. Whereas Zuko clearly took after his mother, and she was proud of him for it. She actively was proud of him for it. But then, once she left, things became very different for him, and I think he had to become more hardened. But I think deep down, I think we still see, I think especially based on what we see in this episode too, because he actively does I think he actively chastises those Earth Kingdom soldiers, and he actively chastises them, he actively berates them, and kind of calls them out for the bullies and the kind of tormentors that they are. I think personally, I think Azula probably never would have done that. I think Azula being Azula, I think she kind of prides herself on her own involvement in the Fire Nation's kind of rampage across the world and everything. So I think she would actively take out those soldiers and actually kind of destroy that village herself, and actually kind of like display her own power as a form of as an intimidation tactic too. So I think with her things would be very different, but with him, with Zuko, he actively calls them out and actually tries to protect the people, and actually tries to protect the people and tries to save the sun and everything. So with him, you see so much more of his mother in him, like his mother was such a kind of like a wholesome and loving kind of force, and she constantly reinforced that kind of positivity and that kind of wholesomeness in him, and tried to actually reinforce some sense of love and self-love into him and everything. I think pretty much like those two were the polar opposites of Azula and Ozai. I think seeing that kind of taking place and seeing that in action is just like the most kind of the kind of wildest thing, and actually showing showing how connected they each kind of individually were. I think Azula not even having to try, but then also just naturally being talented and gifted enough, because even the way Zuko even actually reminisced about his father describing their different kind of birds was like, Azula was born lucky, but then Zuko was lucky to even be born. So it's the way that he actually views his own kids as well. Like, to him, I think to him Zuko might as well be the tryhard who constantly fails, but then Azula is the one who's naturally gifted. She's flawless. She's ideal. She's the pinnacle of like a Fire Nation soldier and representative and everything. So she's like she is the one that he sees himself in the most. And then of course Zuko has pretty much nothing but his mother and him, and now I think if he needs a father figure, he's got Iroh. Now he's actually got Iroh, and Iroh in this too. Iroh, we had some kind of backstory with him too. He was upholding Ba Sing Se, the siege of Ba Sing Se, like his kind of pretty much his last ever kind of mission in that kind of in the position of a Fire Nation general, and he held up Ba Sing Se. I think even from the references they've made so far from Ba Sing Se, I think they kind of talked about how it also didn't really go anywhere. I think even before he left, I think they mentioned, I think there was that general who surrendered. I think the general who surrendered, Iroh took his knife and sent that to Zuko. So I think Zuko got the general's knife. But I think I'm pretty sure, I'm like 70% sure that there have been references to previous episodes where people have actually mentioned the siege of Ba Sing Se, it was like a big enough to kind of deal, but it never really kind of went anywhere, and then in the end, like, to other people, Iroh just left, but then to people who knew and who knew about his son Lu Ten, they knew that it was because of his death that then Iroh kind of felt too much grief, and he kind of felt demotivated, and he just kind of left it as it was and just kind of backed away from the mission and everything. So he dropped the mission, he sent everyone home, and he went home himself. So I think that may as well have been his banishment. So I think for Zuko, it was after his Agni Kai that he was actually sent out and given the mission of actually trying to do one thing right with capturing the Avatar. And then Iroh, I think for his failure to capture Ba Sing Se, it must have been. I think that was a while ago. I think that was when he was a kid. So I think that probably wouldn't work. I think maybe he came home, then he was probably kind of disbanded or discharged from the army. But then afterwards, he was then finally made useful again when they made him the guardian of Zuko after they sent him out on the mission to capture the Avatar and regain his honor and everything. So. Yeah, but I think in this one we kind of keep up with the kind of live kind of news feed from the war of Lu Ten having died on the front lines and having not survived the battle, and then Iroh being so grief stricken that he just kind of drops everything and returns home. So there was that. And then, I think in even in that moment, kind of Azula having no sympathy or empathy or anything whatsoever, and her just kind of calling him a coward and calling him weak and demanding that he be a proper general and actually finish the job and everything. But then Zuko, I think a key kind of link to the past of actually showing that Zuko and Iroh were meant to be together as father and son this entire time too. Was Zuko actually understanding Zuko not only defending his uncle's honor and actually calling him actively denying that Iroh could have been a coward or anything similar to that. Zuko actively being you don't know why he's done this. I think chances are he's actually too grief Zuko actively understanding that chances are he's too grief stricken and too kind of heartbroken to actually kind of continue his mission anymore. Especially knowing that this line of work is exactly what cost him his only son too. So. Zuko actually understanding from the beginning why Iroh kind of fled and why he turned his back on Ba Sing Se, and actually understanding what he might be going through and actually trying to understand what he might be going through too. So I think that to me seems like the kind of biggest link that from the beginning Zuko actually understood what his uncle was like and how he was and how he must be feeling, and tried to actually understand that in accordance with whatever military kind of strategies that he kind of would have been charged with having to undertake during the siege and everything. So yeah, Zuko and Iroh, they had a history going back. So yeah. But yeah, then so yeah, I think his mother, I think his mother was always around. I think at least like during the earlier kind of years of his childhood and everything, and and she definitely tried to instill in Zuko some self respect and some kind of sense of love and self love, and her actually always believing in him and always supporting him and always trying to make sure that he knew that she loved him and she would try and see his future through to at least to her end and everything. I think I don't know why. I think it might just be because of like these stories. Like it's often how it goes. Like a parental figure who's not alive in the present day oftentimes kind of dies or disappears or something in the past, and then and they're either dead or they're presumed dead. But no, I think with this one it showed that she just left, like up in the middle of the night. She like in the dead of night. She came to Zuko's room while he was half asleep, and like I think in that position too. I think it definitely makes sense that he'd actually kind of be just about awake enough to actually process her message in the middle of the night, and then he'd go back to sleep, and then he'd wake up and she'd be gone and everything. So. Yeah, but then I think she just kind of went to his room in the middle of the night, gave him the kind of sweet goodbye message, and then actually just kind of did disappear into the night. So yeah, she disappeared. So I think then chances are I think she's still out there. I think she must be still out there in some capacity, and she being who she is, or rather who she was, I think she must be in hiding too. Actually hiding out there somewhere, either with another family or actually just on her own or trying to do something, reuniting with his mother at some point, and then I think maybe even her reaction to seeing his Agni Kai scar too, maybe actually her reaction to finding out that her own husband put her son through Agni Kai and then burned his face and disowned him and just made him all of this in the face of the Fire Nation and everything, like her finding out what her son's been through in all that time too, and then hopefully like an actual reunion and reconciliation between the two of them would be nice to see. So maybe, just maybe, but I think seeing how seeing how kind of similar they are and how kind of like where Zuko gets his kind of like his more open and warm-heartedness from is very easy to kind of connect to her and everything. So yeah, Ursa, it was really really good to see her. So yeah. And then yeah, Azula, even young Azula was just like the most kind of the most kind of taunting and aggravational little kind of minx. She just she took any and all opportunities to tease Zuko, like not just tease him, but then actively kind of aggravate him and actively kind of put thoughts and put doubts and put all sorts of things into his head and everything. I think I think on the one hand, I think she probably covered it up by her by saying that she was actually testing his willpower and testing his ability to remain headfast and strong. But then I think deep down, I think I think on the one hand, like Ozai kind of is ashamed of his son and actually kind of takes any opportunity. I think any time like Zuko is mentioned or Zuko is present and he makes his presence known, I think Ozai definitely kind of cringes. He definitely kind of cringes at his own son's existence, but then he tries to ignore it. But then with Azula, she is definitely kind of using his failures and his kind of history and his like self-doubt and his self-worth and everything to her advantage, and actually kind of not only propping herself up by pushing him down, but then actively keeping him down by taking any and all kind of opportunities to actually remind him of his failures and actually trying to like show him up as the more kind of as she is the more kind of successful and more kind of pride-invoking kind of sibling too, like her being as perfect and as talented and as ideal of a child of the Fire Nation Lord as she is. I think she's definitely kind of propping herself up in that way too, and actually priding herself on being the one child that Ozai actually wanted and is proud of. But then with Zuko, I think he has like I think it definitely kind of feels like he has so much more of his mother in him now, like now that she's gone. But then because of the fact that he grew up around his father too, I think he's had to suppress that for a long time, and he's kind of definitely kind of show, and it definitely kind of shows how much more he puts on his kind of persona of being evil and being kind of being like an actual Fire Nation prince, and like how much of that is trauma compared to how much of that is actual success, and how much of that is like an actual hard-earned kind of personality with Azula. Like with Azula, she actively knows that that's what she's meant to do, and that's what she wants to do, and that's the persona she wants to have in order to please her father, in order to please her father. But I think with Zuko, he actively has to put that on, and he actively has to kind of put on that kind of facade of being emotionless and not being afraid and just kind of being pissed off everyone all the time because of how growing up under his father for the remainder of his youth kind of molded him and everything. So seeing that even kind of starting off at a young age too was pretty kind of dark and pretty kind of upsetting to see. But yeah, I guess that's the family for you. I guess that is the family. So yeah. And Azula is also the namesake of the former Fire Lord, aka her grandfather, Fire Lord Azulon. So then they called her Azula after him. So nice to know where that name comes from. But Zuko, I don't know. I mean, Zuko, I mean, no mention of who he's named after, if anyone, or if his name is the first within their bloodline. But yeah, Azula, named after Azulon. So I think even with that too, actually, kind of then with her being born lucky, her being born as ideal of an actual first. But I think she is the firstborn, right? I'm pretty sure, or I think maybe like firstborn, but maybe not not huge gaps in their age, and maybe they're like close enough to be identical or something. But either way, born lucky kind of child that she is, I think she definitely kind of actually like connecting her to her heritage and to her legacy, and to that legacy and to the importance of being her as much as they could. I think they definitely kind of went the extra step of actually naming her after her grandfather and everything, and actually her being able to flawlessly impress him during that whole kind of fire kind of demonstration and everything, and actually her showing off her new moves and doing everything. So I think these flashbacks that definitely want to show like a bunch of different things, but then also very specifically like how much more perfect Azula was, and how much more perfectly she was perceived as by her family and everything. Compared to Zuko's kind of being a lot more conflicted between like his mother's love and his father's kind of just cold, and his kind of heat and his rage and everything, and his harshness and everything. So yeah, they definitely covered a lot of that ground. So yeah. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this episode of, again, a very, very fun Zuko-centric episode with some cool kind of, short-lived kind of, positivity and niceness in the present day until he unveils himself, and then some more kind of shocking and heart-wrenching kind of backstory to him and how he grew up and who he grew up under and how it's affected him and everything. So some cool Zuko stuff in this episode, and eagerly awaiting more on that front too. So yeah, that was Avatar, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 2, Episode number 7. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment on what your thoughts are and how you felt about this episode, and what your thoughts on Zuko are and how far he's come and all the kind of things all the pressures that he's succumbed to, and what your thoughts on his history are, and if you think his mother is alive, or if she's still out there or something. So yeah, leave those kind of comments down below. For those interested, the full-length reaction will be available over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it for now. So until next time, bye bye for now.